Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now today I'm at home. I've just come out the back door and as you can probably tell from my footwear, summer has arrived. But what I'm doing is something very interesting. We have a pair of house sparrows nesting in the apex of our home, and if I flip around, the house sparrows are up there. Oh, and there's one just flown out, as you can see. And this is my very basic, simple urban garden, but it's great to have the wildlife up there. Yeah, so what I've done is I've set myself up in my shed, which is normally the home of my lawnmower. And the lawnmower just has to vacate for a few hours over the next few weeks. But what I want to do here is I want to try and video the action, but I also want to practice something I've always wanted to practice, and that is the use of Pro Capture on the OM system cameras. Pro Capture has the ability to kind of second guess, to think ahead, to take a series of shots as you half press the shutter and kind of preempt the flight of the bird in and out of the nest. So that's what I want to do, try and capture the bird in flight as it comes in and out of the nest. Oh my God, the state of my shed. Is everyone else's shed this bad? I have everything from tools, petrol cans, some of my surveying equipment, tripods, and other gardening stuff. But this is my setup here. So I've got Lara's OM5 with my 150-600 sitting on her camera, and I'm going to shoot video with that. That's a great little camera, guys. This thing is tiny. It fits in the palm of your hand if you're ever looking for a great travel option. And I've got it sitting on the newer video tripod. What I'm going to do is try and shoot my stills, and I hope I have enough reach here. I'll soon find out. With the 50-200 on the OM1MKII, but it also has the 1.4 converter on there. Yeah, so that's the plan. Sit myself on the garden chair in the shed with a creaked neck looking up for an hour or two. The light is good because it's shining on to this particular gable end of my house. Once it goes by 1 o'clock, it's gone around and it's all in shade, so I have to do it earlier in the morning. So let's get at it, let's give this a go. Let's see, can we capture some of these house sparrows in flight in and out of the nest with Pro Capture. Yeah, this is so cool to watch. Got some got the adults coming in and out with food. The chicks are already hatched. You can see from some of the footage here, the adults are busy in and out of the nest feeding the young. I'm not sure how long ago the chicks have hatched, but I think they will be in the nest for about 14-15 days. So I'm guessing possibly one more week, given by the activity, and I can hear them. So it'll be interesting to see, will I be here when they fledge? I'm not 100% sure, but I'll concentrate on some video and then I'll move on to try and take some stills. So cool to have this in your back garden. Amazing. So I'm shooting here now using the Pro Capture function of the OM1MKII and the bird detection in conjunction with Pro Capture. Light's a little bit dull, a little bit shaded underneath the eave of the actual tile, but this is the only location I can do this from. I can't go into the neighbour's garden. The other side, I'm out in the green. Everyone would be over going, who's this crazy dude sitting on a chair, pointing a camera up at his roof? So, not for me. But it's really important that you stay very patient with Pro Capture and try and just try and anticipate the birds coming and going. You get to know them afterward. There we are, bang. Bird gone into the nest. Now, can I get the adult coming back out of the nest? There we go. And on the half shutter press, the camera takes a series of shots. I have it set up for 50 before, and then a certain number after. And somewhere in between, you hope to get that point of the bird in flight as it enters or exits the nest. So I've spent a little bit of time here. I'm going to go and get a cup of tea now. But if any of these first Pro Capture images have worked out, well, you know what's coming. Here they are. So welcome back. As you can see, I'm back in my garden shed amongst things like wasp nest killer, tools, old paint, drain cleaning rods, and anything else you can see behind me. So apologies for that. But what that just tells you is that, you know, you don't need fancy hides or fancy locations to be able to shoot this kind of thing. If you have nature nearby, get the camera out in the back garden and get some shots. So I've been away for a few days and I've come back, and there's a lot more activity around this nest right now. Something that I've noticed after observing these house sparrows from before, when the chicks get close to fledging, the parents sometimes sit on my neighbour's apex roof and vocalize a lot. I guess that may be trying to encourage them to come out. Now, the parents are still in and out with food, but not every time. They stop, they vocalize, and then they will go in and feed. Sometimes they vocalize and don't go in at all. So I'm back. I've got great light. I've got great light right now on my my own roof and the ridgeline, because the light is coming in early morning from that side. I've got an hour or two maximum before it goes into shadow. So I'm going to see what we can do here again with Pro Capture, trying to get these birds in flight using the Pro Capture facility within the OM1MKII. Yeah, so let's see what we can do here. Enjoy this back garden, cup of tea, watching the birds. Yeah, so this is my current setup for photographing and videoing these birds. I've got an OM5 here, OM5, and I got my 150 to 600 lens pointing at the nest, and all I have to do is hit the record button every time I feel I need to record something. On the other side here, and this is something that I've changed on this side, I've got my OM1MKII, the 50 to 200 with a 1.4 converter. And what I've done is I set it on a tripod. I had it on a monopod, which is here, but I found it difficult to react because the birds are so fast. And what I did was I've now mounted it on the tripod and focused into the area that I want. So I can now use my eyes to look, and when I see a bird approaching, hit the shutter button for Pro Capture to activate. So I can see the bird approaching, and I think this has worked much better for me. So that's a good tip for you. If you know a location where there's a nest and birds are coming in and coming out, very useful to have the tripod. Yeah, and just for those who are interested, and I don't know if you can see this, I don't have a screen recorder, but I'll show you my Pro Capture settings and how you get into it. You need to go into the first menu and menu 7 within that, and you got sequential shooting settings. And if you go in there and all the way down, use Pro Cap 2. I'm not going to get into the reason why, but for all you amateurs out there, amateur photographers like me, Pro Cap 2 is where you need to go. Right arrow, and you have your setup options. So you got your max frames per second. This 50 to 200 lens will do 50 frames per second. The 150 to 600 will only do 25 only, but yeah, 50 frames is better. You can get your pre-shutter frames. I have it set to 22, and I have it limited to 40 frames in total per shutter press. So I get 22 burst before and 18 after hit the shutter release. And then something that I've done also then is I have saved those settings that you've just seen to the preset C1 button on my OM1MKII. Again, very easy to do. It just means anytime I want to go back to Pro Capture, I just go to C1 on my my dial. And then there's another setting, and a setting I feel is hugely important and should not be overlooked. And it has made a massive difference to my photography, I feel, is I have in the last 2 or 3 months started using auto ISO. You know, there's enough to be worrying about with shutter speeds, apertures, etc., than bringing, you know, ISO settings into the equation when you're trying to record or photograph wildlife. Certainly in my stills I use auto ISO all the time. It's just one less thing to worry about, and the modern cameras can just cope with massively high ISOs. Like, I've been crazy high. I've been up to the limit on my OM1MKII, which I think I have set at 12,600, and you know, I'm currently just using denoise in Lightroom. I have others, but I just use a denoise in Lightroom, and once, you know, once you get a sharp image, any of these denoise packages can handle the noise. I find even at up around 3,200, up as far as 6,000 ISO, there's little or no noise in these modern cameras. So set your ISO to auto ISO and forget about ISO and just concentrate on the 1 or 2 other settings that you need to focus on. Believe me, you won't regret it. Right, let's back to catching some of these birds before that light disappears on me. Yeah, so the sun has kind of gone around there now and put my house sparrow nest into shade. So I think I've got some good shots. I'm hoping I've got some good shots. And I hope that I've explained a little bit about Pro Capture, how it works, its advantages in shooting wildlife, certainly birds in flight. The big disadvantage is you get a lot of files, and there's a lot of files to go through, but there are AI assisted culling programs and methods now that you can use to get rid of all the rubbish and keep the good ones. I haven't used that yet. Something I'm going to do now as part of the processing of these images. So the next time we'll come back and we'll visit these house sparrows is when the chicks have fledged, which should be in a few days, and we'll try and get a few images of the chicks to finish off this video. But for now, if any of these images in today's little shoot with the glorious sunshine shining on the nest using Pro Capture worked out, here they are. So I've just come home from work, and as you can see here we have a little nest box, and we're very lucky to have a pair of blue tits nesting in the box. So I'm going to kind of wrap up this Pro Capture video, just taking a few shots of the pair coming to and from the nest. And if we come around here, this is my comfortable little setup. I've got a chair and I've got my OM1MKII 50 to 200 with the 1.4 teleconverter. Yeah, and as I explained in the last section of this video, I found it much easier to put the camera on a tripod and keep an eye with my eyes for the birds coming in and out, have the camera focused in the right spot, and when I feel they're going to fly in or out of the nest, I hit the shutter. It's too difficult to keep an eye through the whole time and keep focused, and then you just miss them because they only fly into the frame so quickly. So a little tip is, if you know a nest, you have something to photograph, you know that they're coming and going, put it on a tripod and use your eyes to gauge when the birds are going to come and go. So I'm just going to enjoy this sunny evening after work, sit here for 20 minutes, watch them come and go, shoot some images again with Pro Capture. You may or may not be able to see, but I'm back in my C1 settings, my custom settings. I have shutter speed is 1:4000, f4 and ISO 2500, and I work on auto ISO these days. It just makes life so much easier. So that's my setup, and that's my tree. Let's just enjoy the sunshine, get some photos of the blue tits coming in and out of their little nest box, and if any of them worked out with Pro Capture, well, here they are. So I'm sitting here with my OM5 and my 150 to 600. Zoomed at 150 and I'm still possibly too close. And I got my OM1MKII, my 50 to 200 with the 1.4 tele converter. I'm shooting video with the OM5 and Pro Capture with the OM1MKII. Ooh, lights coming and going, but I'm just armed here with my hands on the shutter, ready and waiting for the blue tits to come back. Oh, there they are. Video started, and then I have the blue tit is just jumping around on the tree at the moment, and then I can predict when he's going to come. There he is, coming down to the branch. Now I go shutter release. Yes. So I think with Pro Capture I've got the blue tit going in and hopefully coming out and coming straight at me. 1 second. Still inside. There's a head, shoot. And gone. Yeah, so that's how I'm managing it. And fingers crossed I got some good images of the bird in flight. And you can imagine how fast those wings are going. So I'm up at a shutter speed about 1:4000, auto ISO and f4. That should work for me. So yeah, let's hope some of these images work out. The sun is good, the light is good, it's onto the nest box, so conditions are good for me. These should work out. Another handy accessory I forgot to mention when doing Pro Capture sitting on the tripod is to use the shutter release of the OI Share app on your phone. If I flip it around here, you'll see what I mean. and I'm looking at my nest box over there, and I can keep a visual on the nest box when the birds come and land in the tree. I can keep a close eye on them, and I have on my phone the remote control in the app, which just connects automatically to the camera via Bluetooth. And when I see a bird coming towards the nest, I can just hit the shutter release and the camera will take the burst in Pro Capture. Big thing to remember though is you need to turn off the sleep mode on your OM1MKII, because every time it goes to sleep, it disconnects the Bluetooth. So if you're using your remote shutter through your phone and the app, make sure the sleep timer is turned off. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed some of those images and some of the theory behind Pro Capture and how it works. If you have an OM1MKII, why don't you try that yourself? I'm lucky I have this nest box in the back garden, so I can predict the birds coming in and out. A couple of key things to take away are make sure you have your settings correct. Set it up in advance and then assign it to one of your C buttons on your OM1MKII, so you can just turn that dial and be automatically in those settings whenever you need it. Also, if you can predict the flight of the bird, get the camera on a tripod and watch yourself for the bird coming and going, so you can be ready to press the shutter. Good tip is download the app, the OI Share app, connect your phone to your camera via Bluetooth, and keep an eye on the nest box, keep an eye on the nest, and use the shutter release on your phone to get that snap and get that bird in flight. You know, small birds, very, very difficult to get in flight, but with Pro Capture on the OM1, it really makes life a lot easier. Yeah, so hope you enjoyed the video, hope you enjoyed some of these images. Feel free to give a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button to see more content or similar content. This has been a first kind of these videos for me. More of a tutorial than an actual on-location shoot. Just enjoying myself, so something different. I hope you've got something out of it, and thanks again for joining me. So until next time, until the next video, slán leat, and see you down the road. Bye for now.